Hey, Chris here from Switch Weekly, and I thought I'd just do a quick video kind of just running through my thoughts of E3 now the kind of dust has settled on Nintendo's E3 Direct, which happened on Tuesday just gone. So I'm just going to run through kind of my highlights really of what happened during the kind of 40 minutes, what I thought was kind of standout. There was quite a bit of filler in terms of showing us stuff that we already knew about, like Mario Golf and like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater and things like that. And also like some games that you just kind of don't really think that are worthy enough to be in a Direct, I guess, especially an E3 one. But that's kind of table stakes, I guess. It's not really important. So I'm going to try and go through these in a kind of order of appearance in terms of what I thought was notable. And the first of those is the Smash Brothers reveal. We all expected it. We all knew there'd be, and by that I mean we knew there'd be a Smash reveal in this Direct. We had kind of like two characters left in the Fighters Pass, one now, and it was Kazuya, I can't remember his last name, Kazuya from Tekken. Now I'm not a Tekken guy, but it seems like a fairly solid choice, and the kind of intro for him was really quite fun because he's got this like iconic scene where he like finishes people off and then kind of drops them off a cliff. So he was doing that with like loads of characters like Kid Icarus and Captain Falcon, who's already dead, and things like that. Dropped Kirby off, my boy, that's who I play when I'm playing Smash. And of course he just floats straight back up. So that was fun. The actual introduction for him was pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know, just having yet another kind of fighting game character in Smash doesn't really sit right with me because, I mean, although it's like a solid popular choice, I mean, Tekken's a big franchise and it's got like loads of heritage and history and stuff, so it's perfectly valid in terms of like from that perspective, but I don't know, like Smash has always kind of felt like an anti-fighting game person's fighting game? An anti-fighting games person, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but you know what I'm trying to get at. Yeah, it always felt like kind of the anti-fighting game. So it was always kind of fun to have these like wacky characters in there, like, I don't know, Mr. Game & Watch and Rob the Robot and things like that. The kind of characters where you'd actually have to kind of creatively think, oh, how is this random character going to fit into a fighting game? And that was always the kind of the appeal, I guess, of Smash. So to have a fighting game character in a fighting game, they kind of slot in quite easily, I guess, in terms of their movesets, which I guess is kind of appealing for like Sakurai and team because it makes the job a little bit easier. I mean, I don't want to play down the work involved in having these characters here because this game is insane in terms of the amount of effort that must go into it. So cool to see from kind of like a history and heritage point of view, but I would have liked one of the more wild card choices in terms of like, I don't know, just like I think Crash would have been fun, like his spin attack and like launching Wumpa Fruit at people and things. You've probably noticed I've put a video out, not a video, shared the results of like who people wanted to see because I did a survey back in March and asked like 10,000 Smash players who they wanted to see, and I forget now who the top 6 were, but Waluigi was like number 1, Crash was in there, so was Doom Guy and like Halo, and there was one other, I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, so that was Smash. We're going to get a more kind of in-depth presentation on that soon, so that'll be cool. And then it's just one character left. Beautiful Joe, never gonna happen. But that's who I want to see. Then we got kind of 3 Life is Strange games coming to the Switch, which is a nice thing to have. I mean, I'm not overly familiar with them, but I know they're like really well liked and like they're meant to be really good, so I'll check them out. That was cool and kind of unexpected, I think. So that was nice. The next thing that kind of caught my eye was something we actually kind of knew about a day or two before because it kind of leaked, and that was Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, and I think it's like 3 or 4, I might even be getting that wrong, Monkey Ball games in kind of one like remastered collection. I have really fond memories of playing like the first 2 from back in the GameCube. These games were really good, so I was kind of excited for Monkey Ball when they released that one last year, I think it was. Excuse me. But it didn't review well and wasn't exactly what people wanted. So this kind of remastering the first kind of couple of games very much caught my eye, and I'll be picking this one up for sure because the first 2 games are so good. Check it out if you haven't before. GameCube classics. Next from that was Super, no, not Super actually, the last one was Super, this one's just a regular ass patty. Mario Party Superstars. I think at first, when they first showed this, everyone just assumed it was like DLC or something, but quickly turns out no, it isn't. It's a full $60 game, and it's like a remaster of sorts. Remaster kind of collection, I guess, is one way of looking at it, because it's got like a bunch of old boards from like games gone past, and then like loads of mini games with like online and stuff, which is pretty cool. So I think it actually will end up being a really, really solid Mario Party game. I wish they'd just do a game where it's just all the mini games ever, like, because that's all I ever want to play. I don't want to play the board games, I just want to play the mini games. But hey, I don't know if people actually like the board game element, then tell me in the comments, because I don't think it's kind of boring filler, and it's always like ends up being bullshit, doesn't it, with like the stars and stuff. But yeah, the mini games are solid. So, and the visuals on the Super Mario Party, yeah, I'm right. The visuals on the last one were superb. So if they're going to get the same treatment on the mini games this time around, I think we're in for a treat. And I've already seen from a few screenshots doing the rounds on Twitter that some of the older games have kind of been tweaked to be a bit more accessibility friendly. So for example, in one of the old mini games, you had to like stand on top of mushrooms, right? And they were all different colors. So this time they've put different patterns on in addition to colors. So if you've got like visual impairment and like color blindness, for example, you can actually differentiate the mushrooms, and that's a nice little kind of quality of life feature, which I think people will appreciate. So yeah, I'm not personally too hyped about Mario Party Superstars, but it did jump out at me as kind of one of the highlights for sure. The next thing is kind of, who saw this one come in? Metroid Dread. It's crazy to me to think that this game, in one kind of guise or another, we've been talking about kind of on or off for the best part of it, what feels like maybe 15 years, which is crazy. The kind of development history of this one is quite interesting. I'm sure there'll be a great video out some point, kind of from somebody covering the kind of, development hell it went through, or not, so to speak, and kind of got cancelled and then it didn't. Started out as a DS game, maybe? I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, real big surprise at the show, this one, because we're getting a new kind of 2D side-scrolly. It's Metroid 5. I mean, I think that caused a lot of confusion for people because they were waiting on like Metroid Prime 4, and it looks like, if you're not kind of up to scratch on your Metroid lore, like they've gone straight to 5. But no, this is Metroid 5, and it kind of carries on the story of Metroid 1 to Super Metroid, and then Fusion, and then this is the one after that. So yeah, really, really interesting to see how that one holds up, and it's not far away either. It's just like a few months away. So excited for Metroid Dread. I, a few months back, started playing Super Metroid on the Nintendo Switch online service, so I really want to get through that and finish that. And it really would be nice if Nintendo made it, there was a playable way to get to like Metroid Fusion to kind of fill the gaps and stuff, So yeah, Metroid Dread, get your pre-orders in. It feels like this one's actually going to do really, really well. Traditionally, Metroid games just don't sell, and I know like people don't want to believe it, but Nintendogs on the DS, those games sold more than the Metroid series combined, which is crazy to think about, but yeah, that happened. But off the back of like Metroid Dread getting announced, it was like top of the charts on like all of like the Amazons across the world, and like Japan and the US and here in Europe and things like that. So I think this one's going to do okay. But I don't know, Nintendo just seems to have so much luck with the Switch. Anything just flies out. So yeah, who knows. Next up, like Wario Ware on the Switch. Like, what took them so long? But oh my god, I am very, very excited that this is here. I remember actually importing the GameCube one, which may have been the first one, back in 2004, I want to say, and I loved it. It's just so kind of, it just fires stuff at you, and it's just a blast, man. It's so much fun to play. And when we saw 1-2 Switch way back in 2017, don't buy that game, it's trash. It just kind of showed you the sort of things that they could play with, and I thought, they've got all this kind of weird controller tech. This is perfect for WarioWare, so I thought we'd get one within the first kind of year or two of the Switch's life cycle. Here we are 4 years later, and it's finally arrived. But yeah, what took them so long? I thought we'd have this soon, much sooner. But I'm hyped to see it. It's got kind of a unique kind of 2-player mode in that, which is fun, which means you'll be able to share the micro game madness. So yeah, really hyped for WarioWare. Really hyped for that. I'm looking forward to it, and that's out like later this year as well. So all of a sudden, like the Nintendo Switch's end of 2021 is starting to look really stacked. So that's good, because up until this point we were a bit like, what you got? After that, another 2021 release is Advance Wars. I can't remember the title. Is it list 1 and 2 anyway, it's a remaster of the first two Advance Wars games. They've tweaked the visuals on this one to kind of move away from the kind of Game Boy pixely art, and it looks really cute. I think they've done a nice job with it. It's the people behind Shantae who are doing this, I believe, Way Forward, and again, they're really cool, solid Game Boy games that if you haven't played before, you kind of owe it to yourself to kind of play these and just get a feel for the kind of strategy game that it is. Yeah, hyped for that one too. Of course I'm hyped for it. I'm telling you all my highlights. There's plenty of stuff in this direct that I was like, meh, I can take that or leave that. But yeah, Advance Wars looks really cool, and it's one of those games that I think everyone just thought, like F-Zero, was dead. But yeah, Kazuya didn't drop Andy or whoever from Advance Wars off the cliff, so here we are. Advance Wars is alive. Who'd have thought it? So that's cool. And then after that, we kind of got towards the end of the presentation, after like a sizzle reel or two, and it was kind of into Zelda territory. And I think here we expected kind of, I don't know what we expected, but I don't know if it was quite what people thought we were going to get here, because like Mario last year, the big kind of anniversary years, I thought we were going to get like some sort of celebration, like the Master Sword collection like we had on the GameCube back in the day, where they bundled a few games together. I personally didn't see this coming, but enough people thought that this was going to happen, or at least wanted to kind of will it into existence. Like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask and whatnot, stick it on a Switch cart and sell it to us for $60 or something like that. In the end, we got a Game & Watch. So we've got the Mario one there, which they did for the Mario 35 anniversary. They're going to do something similar for the Zelda anniversary, and it has like the first 2 NES games on it, the first Game Boy game on it, Link's Awakening, I think, and like the clock and stuff. So yeah, more of this coming later this year. The collector's going to really dig that, I think. It looks nice enough. Yeah, but that is kind of the extent of it in terms of anniversary celebrations. I mean, beyond that, we've got Skyward Sword HD coming out in a month or so, and then Breath of the Wild 2, still no title on that one, isn't coming out this year, so that's not really part of the anniversary celebration. That's going to be a 2022 release, which I always kind of expected. There was pre-E3, there was quite a rumble of people expecting it to be like the big Christmas release. Not so much. By the way, Advance Wars is coming out in December, so maybe that's their Christmas game. Yeah, not so much. In my head, thought it might be like a March 2022 release, but based on what they said and shared at E3, that's not looking likely. I think we'll be lucky if we see this at Christmas 2022, so don't hold your breath for Breath of the Wild 2. As for the trailer, it didn't really seem that impactful to me. I think maybe unfairly I'm judging that against the amazing trailer that Nintendo had at the E3 presentation where they announced Breath of the Wild was a launch game for the Switch. That trailer was amazing. I'll put a link to that in the description if you don't know what I'm on about, but you do. So yeah, it wasn't as impactful as that, but I think that was a pretty high bar, and it's pretty early on this. But on saying that, we did get plenty to kind of dig into here in terms of what the game may be. And it felt notably different to me in terms of the original kind of reveal trailer seemed really dark, like Zelda and Link together kind of underground in his cannon or whatever. And this one, it was all kind of Link messing around in the sky. So there is going to be some sort of duality to it, I guess, in terms of, you know, maybe the game map here is going to be like 3 times as big, because we're going to have the Hyrule of Breath of the Wild, and then the kind of underworld, and then the kind of Skyloft world as well. Where, so maybe this is just me speculating, but this game could be massive, which would be pretty wild. So plenty to get excited about. I just don't think this trailer did a very good job at kind of telling you what the threat is, and you know what. I don't know, it just didn't really do a good job of getting me hyped. But plenty of other people seem excited about it, and there's plenty of analysis going into kind of digging into what all the little things we can see, like there's gonna be like time travel and things like that. So yeah, plenty there to kind of dig into, just on a surface level at least. It didn't really get me hyped. So that was the 40 minutes, kind of my take on that at least. I wouldn't be surprised if we get another direct within like the next 3 months or something like that, just because, I don't know, the way these things go, you know. So yeah, that was my kind of highlights of E3 2021 for Nintendo. There's plenty more, and yeah, I've divulged this in my newsletter this week, or whenever you're watching this in the past. But if you don't know, I run a newsletter called Switch Weekly, and I send it every Sunday, and it lists all the games that are coming out for the Switch every week, and a load of links of like the best Nintendo reads that I think you need to see, like reviews, interviews, opinion pieces about other Nintendo games and things like that. So yeah, that's worth checking out. If you haven't subscribed to it already, I'd love it if you could. That's over at switchweekly.com. Again, link in the description. And other than that, if you could just hit like on this video and subscribe if you're feeling really exotic. But that's it. Yeah, that's it from me. Let me know what you thought about Nintendo Z3. Peace. Bye.